Let's make it happen. Here we go, folks. EGMachine at the south of the map in the pink trunks playing Zerg versus his opponent. It's Ro4 in the red trunks. Oh, wow. Ro4 versus Machine. I am giddy. I'm so giddy, and why wouldn't I be? These guys always put on a hell of a show. Looking forward to seeing what they can come up with. Will my brain be able to handle it? Unlikely. Will my vocal cords be able to handle it? Also unlikely. So if I revert to sign language about halfway through this broadcast, at least you know why. I had to turn the webcam off. I start doing semaphore. There's little flags down here. I start waving them around. And then I have someone who actually has to interpret them. Really awkward, but backup casting. Very important, folks. What happens if your caster's voice suddenly disappears? What are you going to do? You're not going to send carrier pigeon, are you? Semaphore, folks. Semaphore over webcam. You know, if someone can actually cast that way, I'll be incredibly impressed. That's a challenge for you, folks. Something that nobody's ever done before. Casting StarCraft 2 using Semaphore. Okay, Ro4. Ro4 with his standard opening. And indeed, the Protoss standard opening. Pylon on 9 all the way through. Pylon actually, was that on 9 or was it on 10? Whatever the case, it was good. We likes it. We likes it, whatever the case. It doesn't matter. Straight into the gateway, or possibly the Forge gateway. Here we go. Very methodical player, Ro4. I wouldn't say predictable, certainly, but very methodical. He's about execution. He does so flawlessly pretty much all the time. Spawning pool coming up right here for EGMachine. Not bothering with the expansion just yet, but looking to grab it at some point in the not-too-distant future, I would think. His opponent, a simulator coming up right here. Cybernetics core will follow. Ro4's going to have a look around and see what he can see. Can he spot his opponent? Can he find him? Sneaking around. He misses him this time. EGMachine heading in the right direction there. He'll discover him first. And then he will discover that his opponent is building the same thing his opponent builds a lot of the time. Then again, it is Protoss opening. There's only a couple of possibilities. Never ever underestimate the opening of, I don't know, building a gateway. A deadly opening, folks. Are you surprised by this? It's like, oh my god, the Terran's building a barracks! That's an incredibly strong opening right there! No, it's just building a barracks so he can build units. It's not that hard. But it's a strong opening! Incredibly strong opening! EGMachine there with a hatchery. Finally grabs that one. Now, this is where it starts to get decided. What is Ro4 going to do? He's going to try and apply some early game pressure. It wouldn't really surprise me. He steals minerals because that's just how he rolls. I swear, he must have a rap sheet as long as my arm when it comes to mineral larceny. Maybe even longer than that, as long as a battle cruiser, perhaps. EGMachine sorting himself out with an extractor right there. Interesting, not going into metabolic boost as quickly as I would have expected. Mostly a case of trying to get the hatchery up quicker, get an economic advantage on his opponent. In the meantime, what is Ro4 doing? Stalker coming out right here. No big surprises there at all. Zealot into Stalker. Pretty much trademark Protoss. I wouldn't even say trademark Ro4. It's trademark Protoss. It's what they often do. Boosts it out, looking for some early game aggression and some harassment, and you know what? He can probably get it. He's up against a few Zerglings, and I do mean a few, 2 precisely. One Queen already up, second one on the way, looking to do some damage with that. Zealot rolls out. Continues on with the Warp Gate research, and more pressure is going to come in from here. This is what Ro4's going to do. Ro4's going to try and dictate the pace of the game, and he's very good at doing that. Incredibly good at doing that. EGMachine's going to lose that. Oh, so upsetting. You know, if a StarCraft player got really upset over every unit lost, there would literally be a flood of tears on the floor, larger than my YouTube comments channel. There we go, forcing his way in right there. Spinecrawler comes up as an attempted counter to that. It's not up quite yet, though. Wants to try and take the Queen before it gets up. Can he get it? Doesn't want it to happen. EGMachine backs off just a little bit. Spinecrawler will be up in a couple of seconds, at which point that could get very messy for Ro4. He needs to back the hell away, and he does so in perfect timing. 2 more gateways on the way. Warp Gate is about 50 seconds off research. Metabolic boost now finally started for Machine. Grabbing that second extractor. Possibly taking up to lair a little bit earlier. No big surprises there, and why wouldn't you? However, his opponent will continue to apply pressure, because that's what he's like. It's what he does. He just needs the units to make that happen. Expands, because he knows he's pretty safe to do so. For the time being, anyway. Once that metabolic boost comes up, it might not be quite as safe as he believes. Never underestimate Machine when it comes to Zerglings. Oh, God. Ro4 with a Stargate now. Fancy. Very fancy. Not even bothering with a traditional build. Say, hey, we're just going to throw a Stargate in there. Should be fun. Why not? Not able to pressure the ground right there. He knows EGMachine is now invested in Spinecrawlers, so indeed, what better way to deal with it than to throw some aircraft at it? Forge going up as well. Hey, there you go. Bit of variety. Quickly up to lair, though, for EGMachine. There you go. However, Stargate has not been scouted by Machine as of yet. He will be able to respond to it with Hydralisks if need be. Phoenix is on its way for WhiteRa. Could also be looking for a Mutalisk attack. He's a big fan of them. Machine loves his Mutas. There's no question about that. And indeed, there aren't all that many Zerg players that don't. Such a wonderful unit. I read a fantastic little thing on Reddit, actually, and it was about... You remember that poster with wasps? Wasps not giving it down what you think and here to screw up? That was basically Mutalisks. Same thing. Very good. Okay. WhiteRa with a very minimalistic defense right here, but then again, EGMachine's built like nothing as well. He's got 3 Zerglings and nothing else. Burrows coming up, grabbing 2 more in terms of the extractors. So a lot of gas available for him. Roaches on the way for the moment. But with 4 gas, you'd be looking for something a bit more advanced than that. You'll probably get it. Robotics facility on the way as well. Single Phoenix is up. Where the hell he's put it? There we go. Harassing Overlords with it. I'm going to bring that down. There we go. And that will supply block his opponent, who quickly builds an Overlord in response to that. Hydralisk Den on the way. I don't know. This seems to be a bit of a bait-and-switch tactic right here. I don't think he's going to continue to pump... I say he's not going to continue to pump out. He brings out Void Rays anyway. Then again, of course, he doesn't know that his opponent's got those. He must see it coming, though. Roaches on the way. Are they going to be able to break that defensive line? Certainly a possibility. He doesn't want to go forward, though. A little bit risky. Could grab it with a gravity beam. Take a Roach out. Another expansion on its way for Machine as well. Not been spotted as of yet by WhiteRa, who continues his harassment now on the Overlords. Try and supply block his opponent. At least just waste money of your opponent, more to the point. It also prevents any immediate counter-attack. More aircraft on the way, Immortal as well. This really is a mixed bag, isn't it? Already got 1 Void Ray out. 2 Phoenix in the air. Looking to try and bring that Queen down. He's going to have to grab that if he wants to take it out. They take the Overlord. He's fairly confident those shields will go down. A Hydralisk now dealing with that without any problems at all. Drives it away, but he did lose the Overlord in the process. Robotics Bay now coming out as well. Again, could very well be a bait, honestly. I really think it is. Continuing with that air attack for the sole purpose of forcing him into Hydralisks, which he'll then counter with Colossi. Playing mind games with his opponent right here. Scouts out his hatchery. Doesn't really have an awful lot he can do to it, but he can still continue to pick off those Overlords and annoy his opponent. Restrict his opponent's army growth, more to the point. Preventing Machine from actually going in. And it's probably a good idea as well, because Machine could potentially apply an overwhelming force. But really, he's done so well in holding Machine back that when a Machine does eventually go in there, he's going to meet a wall of death. Void Ray deployed. 2 Void Rays deployed. 3rd one on the way. You know, if he was trying to bait his opponent, then 1, he's doing a good job of it, and 2, he's investing an awful lot into making it happen. That said, there aren't all that many Hydras out on the field. But again, maybe looking to try and find a critical mass of Hydralisks, which you can then counter-attack with the Colossus, which is what's coming up right now. 1 on its way. Protoss ground weapon level 1, as well as extended thermal lance, and the Spire for his opponent. Those Mutalisks that we thought we'd see, but... You know, I had to wonder if WhiteRa did that on purpose. Forced the Hydralisks to stop his opponent from grabbing Mutalisks so very early on, which he very well could have with the amount of gas he had. I'm sure that's what he's doing. And if not, maybe I'm just applying crazy-ass scheming. You know, I just got this Ming the Merciless thing going on with WhiteRa. I have a feeling he's got this big black billowing cape and he's just cackling every time. Ah, yes, you will build Hydralisks. It's possible. Nobody's saying it's not possible. I'd say the evil overlord of Protoss, but that wouldn't really make too much sense considering the context. But look at that. This is the problem. That harassment didn't really hold EGMachine back too much because he's really plowing forward in terms of his units. He's got 18 Roaches, 12 Hydra. He's even got a Corruptor coming out and another expansion over here. Going crazy with that. What has WhiteRa got in response? WhiteRa expands. He's looking into Colossus right now. Still got those 4 Void Rays available. I'm just trying to see what he's actually doing with them. Not an awful lot. Unless I'm blind, which is a possibility. No harassment with it at the moment. Doesn't really want to risk it, especially now there's Corruptors up in the air. You'll hold those back for the time being. But here we go. Machine plows his way through there. He spots the proxy panel. That's not going to live more than 5 seconds. And I'd worry about Ra's base as well. Now being forced into action. Here come those Void Rays. What will they do? There's a big slice out of that. EGMachine doesn't want any of that. Backs away quickly. To lose a Corruptor there. Maybe. A little bit of a snipe as the Roaches retreat. I don't think White Ra's really in a position to do anything decisive, but he can at least fend off his opponent for the moment while he continues to build. What's he got coming up? Air weapons level 1, ground armor level 1, and Colossus. Mixing up those Colossus with the Void Rays and the ground units. Great mixed bag. Bear in mind, of course, if those Void Rays stay alive, they can inflict a huge amount of damage. They're basically airborne artillery pieces. They continue to focus on their opponents. They will carve through them. Doesn't matter what they are. It's just a lot of damage. Awful lot of damage. They do extra against armored as well. So they're going to carve through those Roaches, and there are an awful lot of Roaches. There are 30 right now for EGMachine. Another Stargate coming up. He really is investing in air, isn't he? So much for the bait. Looks like EGMachine didn't really take it, and I don't blame him. Corruptors now in the air, a significant number of them. Looking to counter both the Colossi and the Void Rays. Do a fairly good job of both. Ra needs more Stalkers on the ground. He knows it, and he's getting them. He's at least something to deal with that. It's a great mixed force from both sides, honestly. Looking forward to seeing these things squashed. You know, you spend so much time building up a force, and then in about 5 seconds it all dies. And here we go, folks! Pushing his way in once again. The initial line of Roaches do heavy damage to those Zealots. It's good stuff. Corruptors coming in from the side, though. Here we go. And trying to bring those Colossus down as quickly as humanly possible. Corruption on the Void Rays is not enough, though. Not enough. Ra holds the line in a heroic fashion. Big losses there for EGMachine. That could be problematic for him. Does he have the economic advantage right now? He really doesn't, actually. Not by much. Continues to warp in. Backing his way over there. Now burrows the Roaches simply to regenerate. What's he got to back those up? Is he going to continue with this Roach strategy? Rebuilds his Corruptors. Once again looking to do damage to those Void Rays. He didn't even take one out as far as I can tell. And that's problematic. Those Void Rays must be doing a huge amount of damage, and they really are. Carving his opponent up right here. EGMachine continues to be patient, looking to reinforce. Yeah, more Corruptors. 14 in the air right now. Huge amount. And we're going Hive. That could be problematic for Ra. But then again, I think he'll deal with it pretty well with the Colossus. Slice his way through right there. Deal with those Broodlings that might come in. Going to take a little bit of time to get that going. I have to wonder if Ra thinks he's got the critical mass yet. He does have 8 Void Rays in the air. It's a good amount of Void Rays, folks. Very good amount of Void Rays. Exceptional amount of Void Rays. EGMachine, are you really building all of those? Yes, why not? He knows he has to defend that. Ra is looking for an opportunity to ram it down the throat of EGMachine. 15 Stalkers, 5 Colossi. Bloody plurals. Snipes as much as he can on the Corruptors. Not going to do too much of a job there, though. Oh, wow, that is a swarm and a half, isn't it? And in it goes! Focusing fire. Brings down the Void Ray. Identifying the Void Ray this time as the biggest threat. Sends in the Roaches instead. Doesn't bother with any Hydras there. Good sniping there. Brings them down. But still, there are still 8 Void Rays on the field. 9 now. At least there will be in a few short minutes' time. Those Corruptors aren't doing the best job, are they? They really are not up to this task. And there he goes. That Roach line is about to get roasted. Yes, indeed. And there it goes. Void Ray's now focusing fire. Brings one down. Looking to try and do a second. The Corruptors, though, have been torn to hell. They have been torn to hell. There's so few of them left. And DuckloadRa continues to force his way through. Annihilates that force. That expansion is down. What has EGMachine got to counteract it with? Looking for the Great Aspire right here. Is it going to be enough? I very much doubt it. White Ra in a commanding position. Takes one expansion. What is the response of EGMachine? Nothing. He doesn't have anything. Nowhere near enough to break that. No question. Look at that. Those Void Rays. He lost an awful lot of them, but it didn't really matter because they were able to inflict such heavy damage. Roaches don't stand a chance. Down they go. That's another expansion. Good game.